Hello, everybody. I just wanted to record a quick little candid thing. This is right after the Golden Globe nominations have been announced, and I'm in a slightly echo room than usual, so it might sound a little bit odd with a bit of reverb. But anyway, the Golden Globes every year, they make choices. They make some interesting choices. And last year, I was mostly on board with the Golden Globes. You were really seeing the foreign aspect of the Hollywood foreign press come into fruition with exciting nominations for Anatomy of a Fall and Zone of Interest and Boy and the Heron. And this year, we saw a tiny bit of that, but we also saw some very weird stuff. And let's just start at the beginning with best achievement in box office, whatever the stupid category's name is. So the nominees are Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, Deadpool and Wolverine, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, Twisters, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. So I actually went 7 for 8 with my predictions in this category, and the one that I did not see coming was Alien Romulus, which was fine. I don't really care about that, but here's what missed. Dune Part 2 missed. Is anyone really talking about this? Because this makes no sense to me. Out of all the crazy things that the Golden Globes did, this is very, very bizarre. Because, spoiler alert, Dune Part 2 makes it into Best Picture later, so it's not like they hated the movie. But it missed here even though it should have made enough money to be eligible, so I don't know what happened here. I don't know if there's any explanation beyond, oh, we'll award this in other categories. But Wicked was in here, so I don't know. It's very, very bizarre. And if anyone has an explanation for how this happened, I'd love to hear it. Best international feature, we have All We Imagine Is Light, The Girl with the Needle, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Vermiglio. So not much to say. I did predict Kneecap and Didi here. I think Didi is one where it's debatable if it counts as an international or as a non-English language feature. There's a lot of English in it. But the question, I don't know if the film wasn't eligible to be nominated or if it just was eligible but wasn't well-liked enough to get in anyway. Because unlike movies like The Farewell or Minari or Past Lives, Didi wasn't really considered a top awards contender, so it makes sense that it wouldn't get in. Now then we move on to Best Animated Feature. We have Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Moana 2, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. So this is basically the top 5 that most people have for the Oscar, but with Moana 2 added, which makes a lot of sense. They nominated Wish last year. Good for them for not nominating Moana 2 for the box office category, although who even cares about that? I was predicting that Wallace and Gromit would miss because I know that the HFPA doesn't love Aardman as much as the Academy does, but this only solidifies that movie is in and Transformers 1 is out. So yeah, just take out Moana and you've got your Oscar lineup. Best Original Song. Okay, this is when things start to get really interesting. We have Beautiful That Way from The Last Showgirl, Compress Repress from Challengers, El Mal from Emilia Perez, Forbidden Road from Better Man, Kiss the Sky from The Wild Robot, and Mi Camino from Emilia Perez. So, a couple of big misses. The songs that I weren't predicting, those aren't too far off the beaten path, and Beautiful That Way in particular makes a lot of sense, and I kind of wish I had predicted that. But the songs that are missing, so first of all, no Diane Warren. Now, she doesn't often get the Globe. It doesn't mean that she's missing the Oscar. Don't worry about that. But I was really starting to wonder if there could be a narrative for Diane to finally win this year. And her missing the Globe really, really hurts that narrative. We'll see if she gets on a Critics' Choice, but this hurts. It looks like Amal is most likely going to go all the way when it comes to the win. Now, okay, what was the other one I didn't predict? Harper and Will Go West. I was really, really hoping that would get in. Maybe it can still get in a Critics' Choice, but yeah, I want that one to go all the way. And then Like a Bird from Sing Sing. So this was the first one. I was like, oh, Sing Sing didn't make it. And little did I know that that would be an omen of things to come. So after that category, next up we have original score. And this one went mostly as planned. We had The Brutalist, Challengers, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, and The Wild Robot. This was the top 6 that I had. It's the top 6 that a lot of people had. And knowing that Dune Part 2 is not going to be eligible for the Oscar, just take that one out and you've got your Oscar 5. Best Screenplay. We have Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, A Real Pain, and The Substance. So I went 5 for 6 here. I was not predicting Amelia Perez. I was predicting Sing Sing, which is a little microcosm of how the morning went overall, because I was surprised by how well Amelia Perez did. Getting into screenplay of 6 is a pretty big deal. As we would later find out, Amelia Perez would get in every single category it was eligible, making a pretty shocking 10 nominations. It's pretty rare that a movie can get that many nominations at the Golden Globes. And Sing Sing I thought would make sense to be in here. So after it missed song and screenplay, I was like, is Sing Sing missing in those 2 categories? And then I wasn't prepared for this next category. Best Supporting Actor. We have Yura Borazov for Anora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, and Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. No Clarence Macklin. This, I think, might have been the first nomination, or for the first admission, to truly shock me. Like, I don't know how this happened. I don't know what... Macklin was supposed to be, if not the front runner, then certainly 2 or 3 in this race. And this is, I haven't seen other people's reactions yet, but I imagine this is when Oscar expert and Brother Bro go, ah! Or something to that effect. I do not know how this happened, and I don't have any meaningful commentary because I'm still kind of stunned. Also in other news, Jeremy Strong gets in for The Apprentice, and I'll comment on that later in Best Actor, but I can't believe it. I went 5 for 6. Now for Best Supporting Actress, we have Selena Gomez for Amelia Perez, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Margaret Qualley for The Substance, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. No Danielle Deadwyler. What the hell? Like, this is literally the second time the Golden Globes have done this, because they also snubbed Deadwyler for Till, and that, unfortunately, set the precedent for Deadwyler to ultimately be snubbed for the Oscar. I cannot believe this is happening twice, because, like with Till, The Piano Lesson is a movie that does not really have aspirations outside of Deadwyler herself, even though at one point it looked like that might be the case. And come on, supporting actress is so much weaker than lead actress. It would make a lot of sense to just have Deadwyler in. She's actually doing very well with the Critics Awards that are starting. So I really hope she gets in. Looking at the other nominees, Rossellini getting in is a surprise and could potentially indicate that that performance is to be taken seriously, because the Globes don't usually go for the performances that are have less screen time. And Qualley getting in is a very real show of support for that film. But man, would have been nice to see Deadwyler. I was also predicting that either Ronan or Antoinette Ellis Taylor could show up, and they both missed. We'll see what Critics' Choice does in a couple days, but supporting actress could be very interesting this year. Best performance by an actor in a comedy musical. We have Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain. We have Hugh Grant for Heretic. We have Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Night. We have Jesse Plemons for Kinds of Kindness. We have Glenn Powell for Hitman, and we have Sebastian Stan for A Different Man. So this was always going to be a weak category, no matter which way you sliced it. I sort of went out on a limb and went with the more out there picks of Jason Schwartzman and Ryan Gosling, but ultimately they played it safe-ish by going for Hugh Grant and Jesse Plemons. Man, I don't even know. This category doesn't even matter. Jesse Eisenberg is probably the only person in this lineup that has any real shot at the Oscar nomination. Meanwhile, for Best Actor in a Drama, we have Adrien Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Daniel Craig for Queer, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, so they did watch that movie, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. So this was mostly everyone's top 6. I was predicting Kingsley Ben-Adir over Sebastian Stan, but Stan is in now, and it looks like Jeremy Strong is in. Oh man, I have the screener for The Apprentice. I haven't watched it yet. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to watch it, but it looks like the Golden Globes have confirmed that this movie is going to be a part of the awards conversation, so, lucky yes. And that's not meant to be a criticism of the film, it's just not what anyone wants to watch right now. And this is the one nomination that Sing Sing got. I guess if you have to nominate it somewhere, the Domingo nomination makes sense, but also this category was always going to be weak, so it would have looked really, really, really bad if Domingo had somehow missed. Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Comedy, or Musical. We have Amy Adams for Night Bitch, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Zendaya for Challengers. This is the top 6 that I predicted. June Squibb could have gotten in, potentially came very close, but ultimately this top 6 makes sense, and there's not a whole lot of waves to be made. I'm glad for everyone who's here. But then we have Best Actress in a Drama, and this category was a real doozy. So we have Pamela Anderson for The Last Showgirl, Angelina Jolie for Maria, Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl, Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door, Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, and Kate Winslet for Lee. No Marianne Jean-Baptiste. Now this is truly shocking. And what's so crazy to me, I know that the HFPA expanded their voting group by a large margin, and they have a lot more people of color in the group. But is it just me, or are we snubbing a lot of black people? Marianne Jean-Baptiste, Clarence Macklin, Daniel Deadweiler, all of whom were considered pretty safe to get in. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to judge. Obviously, we got Cynthia Erivo and Zoe Saldana and people like that in there. But it still does seem odd and suspect that those are some of the biggest high-profile snubs of the day. And I don't know what to... The thing is, the Golden Globes make room for everyone. It's 6 slots... times 2 for Best Actress and Best Actor in a leading role. So if you miss a supporting acting nomination, you could potentially still be in the running. But both Saoirse Ronan and Marianne Jean-Baptiste missing out on this Best Drama nomination really, really hurts both of their chances for the Oscar nomination. Because this was the easier... I mean, there's 6 slots, and they don't have to worry about the comedy actresses taking up slots. So both of them should have been in a good position to get in. The fact that they both missed is very, very worrying for both of their chances. And again, I don't have an explanation for how this happened. I'm just as shocked as you are. And speaking of shocked, Best Director. We have Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez, Sean Baker for Anora, Edward Berger for Conclave, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, Coralie Farge for The Substance, and Powell Kapadia for All We Imagine Is Light. This was the one nomination that I did not even have in my top 12. Like, this was so completely out of left field, I did not see it coming at all. Because even if they were going to go for like a foreign director slot, I thought Mohamed Rasulov surely would take that. It's actually really, really surprising to see Payal Kapadia take it, especially when the movie, spoiler alert, did not make it into Best Picture. So, like, there was a lot of love for that particular director at this particular branch. So, and it came at the expense of both Denis Villeneuve and John M. Chu. I mean, Villeneuve I can kind of see because that movie is sort of slowly being forgotten, unfortunately. That movie came out a while ago. I can understand if he's not exactly on the front of your mind. But John M. Chu, I thought if he was going to show up anywhere, he was going to show up here. And him missing is really, really bad. Wicked technically only got 4 nominations. Picture, both of the actresses, and then the box office award. It could have done a lot better. It could have gotten into director or screenplay or Jonathan Bailey. And this, man, I don't know. I was expecting a Wicked Palooza nomination, and we didn't get that. And Powell Kapadia, such a weird but inspired choice. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not going to say it's undeserved, but it was certainly very out of left field. Best Picture, Comedy or Musical. This is the 6 that I was predicting. Anora, Challengers, Amelia Perez, A Real Pain, The Substance, and Wicked. So, yeah, happy about this. Good to see The Substance making it in. Amelia Perez, wow, really, really overboard, as I said earlier. But then we get into Best Picture Drama. And I was still reeling from the Clarence Macklin snub. And I was realizing at this point that the only thing Sing Sing had actually been nominated for was Colman Domingo. And so going into Best Picture, I was very nervous. And so when they started listing off the names, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, there was one name left, and I was crossing my fingers, but secretly thinking it might be Seed of the Sacred Fig. That would make a lot of sense for this branch for them to go for an international feature, and it's the one that's left alphabetically. It's either Sing Sing or it's Seed of the Sacred Fig. Which S movie is it? And then they went for the surprise third option for the S movie in the last slot. They went with September 5, a movie that up until that point had not received a single other nomination. They just went way off the beaten path. And technically speaking, Nickel Boys also did not get a single other nomination outside of drama feature. And Dune Part 2, the only other nomination it got was score. So, I mean, a lot of overrepresentation for the comedies, I feel, this year. And the dramas kind of left out to dry in general. But still, it is so bizarre to see not one, but 2 movies get into Best Drama Picture without a single other nomination. And September 5, I had written that movie off a long time ago. I was like, this is one that some people like, but because of the Israel-Palestine of it all, not enough voters are going to want to touch it, and it's not going to be a serious part of the conversation. But this was a surprise. It got into Best Picture Drama. And so, is this going to be a sign of things to come? Is that movie going to have legs going forward? I don't know. And we'll see what happens with Critics' Choice tomorrow, but this is certainly, it throws a wrench into our plans. And so, just looking at the Golden Globe nominations as a whole, when trying to figure out, okay, what can we take away from all this? Well, first of all, I just want to say one really positive thing to come out of these nominations is this was a really good day for The Substance. And I wasn't focusing on it as much initially because I was predicting this. I was not predicting the supporting actress nomination, but the other 4 I called. But you know what? Like, a lot of people still didn't have faith in The Substance before today, and hopefully this will change their minds. Like, this movie, this is not just some film Twitter pipe dream that isn't going to happen. Like, 5 nominations at the Golden Globes, and unlike Amelia Perez, based on the categories, there really was no other place that it could have gotten in. So this movie did very, very well, and I expect it also to do very well at Critics' Choice nominations. So this is a very good day for The Substance. Now, it's also obviously a very good day for Amelia Perez, and I was starting to lose faith in that movie a little bit. I want to say, I liked Amelia Perez, but the more I sort of sat on it, I did have issues, and the more I saw other people's issues with the film, I was understanding it. But it's very clear now that this movie is loved by the industry. Even if critics don't like it, even if film Twitter doesn't like it, the industry loves it. And you know what? Whether you love this movie or hate this movie, the fact that Carlos Sofia Gascon is guaranteed all but to become the first openly transgender actor to get an Academy Award nomination for acting. That is a very, very big deal. And people who don't pay attention to the Oscars are going to see that headline and be like, wow. So considering the year that they've had, I very much am looking forward to her getting that nomination. And yeah, but I do want to say, while this was a good news, it was a good day for Amelia Perez and a good day for Substance, it was a bad day for Sing Sing. Like, I don't know what's going to happen to that movie. I'm going to hope that it can still get into picture and supporting actor and all that. But anybody out there who still thinks Sing Sing could pull a coda and come up from behind and win Best Picture, it's not happening, okay? Because I've seen you people. I've seen you be like, oh, you guys just got to be patient. They're doing the coda thing. They're playing the long game. A24 hasn't given up on this movie. You got to trust me. A24 has a plan. No, they don't. Like, this is proof beyond a shadow of a doubt that A24 really does not care about this movie. Like, they care about The Brutalist. That's the movie that is their #1 push for Best Picture. I'm not going to say they don't care about Sing Sing at all, but A24, on top of The Brutalist and Sing Sing, they also have Baby Girl and A Different Man and Queer, and they have so many things that are in the conversation this year, and they can only focus on so much at a time. If only Apple had one of these contenders, because Apple right now has just got Blitz, which is dead on arrival, did not get a single nomination at the Globes. So I think that it's sad. I think Sing Sing is going to need the groundswell of support from online critics to get it into the 10 for Best Picture. This miss at the Globes really, really hurts it. Technically speaking, if you look at the statistics, or at least just look at the Globe nominations, I would say The Substance is more secure for a Best Picture nomination than Sing Sing, which is not what I thought would happen a few months ago, but here we are. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.